YouTube, how's it freaking going? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. I hope your week's been great. Today's Friday, which means the weekend is around the corner, and we got to make sure we're utilizing Friday like it is any other day and doing what we need to freaking do regardless of how we're feeling. Speaking of which, this morning, now if you guys aren't aware, I've been starting to go on my morning runs again. Helps me get my mind off shit, and it lets me channel the energy that I feel inside into something good. So I wake up at 6:30. I woke up at 6:30 this morning. Bed was warm as fuck. It was wet outside. It was cold outside. I didn't want to go for the run. I was like in my mind, let me sleep for another 15 minutes. Let me put that snooze button on. But the reality of it is I set out to wake up at that time. I set out to plan, or rather I planned it and set out to go for that run first thing in the morning. And who am I to lie to myself? Guys, if you are lying to yourself and if you are not holding yourself accountable, you are doing yourself an injustice because you need to. It's you versus you in the end of the day, right? I could sit in that bed all day I want and blame it on a multitude of excuses, but the reality of it is, it was me that chose to continue to be in that bed, in that warm, comfortable bed. But I completed the run, and my legs were sore. I should also say that. The leg day yesterday was fucking brutal. My legs are sore. I'm like, oh, I should let my legs rest. And in reality, you definitely should let your legs rest when they are sore or any muscle in that form. But I set out with that goal to go for the run regardless of how I was feeling. And I did it. I got that run down and I came home and I felt that sense of achievement. And reality of it is, I've said it before, you eat the frog first thing in the morning and don't actually eat a frog, but essentially do hard thing first thing in the morning and the rest of the day will be a breeze, because I look at it and I'm like, oh, I fucking went for a run this morning, came out of my warm bed, all these sorts of things, and I fucking did it regardless. And, you know, I look at that with a sense of gratitude and, you know, achievement, right? Because now I got to edit and stuff like that and whatnot, go to the gym. And all those things are easy because that was the hardest thing I had to do today. And that's the way you guys should do it. Is challenge yourself to do something hard. Not necessarily have to be the hardest thing you do in first thing in the morning, but definitely challenge yourself to do something very difficult so the rest of the day is a breeze, because you will compare it to that, right? And if you wake up and you're laid in bed all day and you're like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym or whatnot, there ain't no fucking excuses. Like I said, it's you versus you. And at the end of the day, you got to do the very things you got to do to become better regardless of how you're feeling. But it is gym time, guys. I don't want to talk for too much. I find myself talking too much, but definitely a lot of messages to be given, and there's a lot of things we can grow in as a culminative unit, because at the end of the day, guys, you guys are with me, and anything I do it with a sense of I have to fucking do this, because I would be letting you guys down, and more importantly, I would be letting myself down. And you guys should think the same, because I am holding you accountable. But without further ado, it's fucking gym time. So I figure we're gonna replicate similar to what we did yesterday with the squats. And for you guys that don't, or rather didn't see that video, we did 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Me personally, I was pretty fixated at the 10 rep range at the weight we were doing. But similarly to yesterday, when I start off at a weight and I start off at an amount of reps, which in this case, I'm gonna be doing a plate and a 35. I did 8 reps first set. I'm gonna stay at that 8 rep range, maybe a little bit more if I can, but I will not go down from that. If I need to take a pause, re-rack it, take a little pause in between, I will. But I wanna hit that 8 rep range. I wanna make sure that I have that consistency through the set. And of course, as I've said before, you have to push towards failure, all right? If you're not training close to failure, you're not gonna get the gains you need, right? And that's the way you wanna make it work. You wanna get the most efficiency out of every set you do, and that is the best way to do it. I have 3 different guys today. We got Shahir, we got Andre, so that means that when they're going, I get pretty well adequate rest in between each set. Of course, when you're doing heavy weights and heavy reps and compound movements in general, you need that recovery period in between each set. I can't expect to do 8 reps, take like a 40-second rest and get back on it and do 8 reps again. It's just unrealistic, especially because, as I've said, it's a compound movement which uses multitude of muscles, so you're fatigued in more than just one place, and you got to take the adequate rest in between, especially when you're dealing with heavy weights. However, when I'm dealing with other weights, you know, I don't know, like let's say a cable raise or something in that form, I'll drop the weight if I need to, but I'll mitigate the amount of rest I have. But again, it's all about training close to that failure mark, and only you know truly what's close to that failure mark. So you gotta train close to that. I promise you, try training that way for a month and you'll see the gains and you won't turn back to the way you used to. Because like anyone, man, you live and you learn. But when I first started training, I was more going for that volume but not that like right volume. So I was just kind of doing stupid volume, just doing a bunch of different movements, but training close, not even close to failure. I would pick up a weight, I'm like, yeah, I could bang this out. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I got like 4 different movements to do after this, so I might as well not burn myself out. But every exercise should be treated like it's your last set of everything, because realistically speaking, a lot of people treat their last set as the most important, and they won't do like the maximum amount of movements and stuff. I gotta make sure the mic's on. Okay, yeah, we are good. Second guessing myself, but we're gonna do this. Like I said, first set I did was 8 reps. Legs are definitely really sore, so even holding this position of the proper bench formation or positioning, it definitely fucks up my legs a little bit. So we have to keep that in mind.
Let's go, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 more. 1, 2 more. 2.
Last one here.
Push, push, push. Let's go, baby.
That was set number 2. We got 3 more sets. Like I said, everyone's doing 5 sets. We're gonna push hard today. It's chest day, just chest. So we're gonna make sure that we're hitting it most effectively that we can. And Andre Baller's gonna get that big ass chest pump, but let's get this shit done. I feel like it's not a Chris workout or C-Pride Chico Fit workout without some killer supersets. I was just telling Andre, I got an interesting superset for him, and he's like, interesting equals fuck. So I mean, that's what we gotta do. I mean, I gotta push the boys to the maximum, especially when there's 3 of us. Like I said, I mean, when you got 3 people or a multitude of people, there's a lot of sitting time, right? So you got to make sure that you're filling in the gaps with doing supersets, and specifically doing supersets that have different stations, because we kind of learned that in the hard way. Because I remember, I don't know if it was last time Andre was here, but we did a chest day where we did 2 different exercises on this as a superset, and the person would just wait for the person to do the double superset. So 3 different stations is definitely more optimal, especially if I'm trying to do 3 different supersets with 3 people. So definitely keep that in mind. Boys' abs are still sore from that fucking shoulder day. So if you guys checked out that video, try out that ab exercises. Only did 2 exercises, but I mean, hey, you don't need a lot of volume as long as you're doing it the right way. It's kind of a lesson you learn over time. But I don't want to chit chat for too long. We're doing 3 different exercises for 12 reps each. Remember, pushing close to failure on every different exercise. The first one up is going to be a high to low cable. I would say cable flow, but it's a cable fly. So we got to make sure that we're pushing ourselves, of course. And honestly, I'm not too sure about which weight's going to be the most optimal for this, but I really do want to emphasize that full stretch, because we did bench press. It doesn't really get that full stretch like dumbbells, and I always say that dumbbells are more optimal than just the benches, just because, like I've said before, the stretch motion and that full range of motion is really crucial to your chest growth. Similarly with push-ups, if you have access to like a push-up plank thing, which Andre bought me for my birthday, shout out Andre for that, but you can hit that extra depth, and that just makes your push-ups much more optimal. But we're gonna crush this sit. Shahir's just feeling it out, making sure it's all right. Shahir's looking big, man. Everyone's looking good. I'm very impressed. Andre hit a plate today for 8 reps, and I remember back in the day, he struggled to even hit 1 rep of that. So it's definitely a lot of progress. Remember, you gotta make sure that you are taking note of your progress. That way you can appreciate it, and you know, it helps fuel you when you're struggling, right? Or feeling down upon yourself. But let's get this shit done. I ain't gonna lie, just touching that, I definitely could do a little heavier. I'm gonna go for 15. Remember what I said, if you could do 12 reps of an exercise, try to get 15. And if you can, then up the weight. But Shahir, you wanna fly over here quick? I'm gonna show you guys this next movement, which is actually an exercise I haven't done before, but I've seen it online. Shahir, come here. I don't think Shahir can hear me. That's all right. So I'm gonna need you, Andre. You're gonna have to lift up the Smith machine bar here, and it's gonna be placed on my back. We're gonna do a form of push-ups here, weighted push-ups. So what do you want me to do? So you're gonna just have to lift it up and let it fall on my back. A little odd, but it's all right. All right, that's good. Right there, yeah. Yeah. That's good. You let it drop. Wow. Whew. That was pretty crazy. I want to figure out a way to move these things at the bottom here though, because it's kind of limiting my range of motion. But I might just grab dumbbells, that way I can get a little elevation. But that's only 2, we got 1 more. So if you come over here. I feel like this is pretty well a staple on chest days. I don't think there's a chest day I don't hit a pec fly. Well, I won't lie, my wrist, I've been saying my wrist is a little sore. Doing the push-ups definitely make my wrist a little fatigued. So I'm gonna have to grab the dumbbells as well for that elevation, but also a wrist wrap, so I don't injure myself. But let's get this, 12 reps. Wow, definitely feeling it. Definitely a crazy superset. Like I said, some adjustments needed, especially with the push-ups. But all around, it's about going exercise to exercise as fast as possible, and that's how you're going to maximize the effectiveness of the supersets. So you don't want to take a rest in between. And like I said, there's 3 of us, so it should be pretty fucking quick. Very limited rest, but we're gonna do this for 4 sets total. That's set number 1. We've got 3 more. Let's get it done. Honestly, that superset was pretty fucking brutal, especially with 3 of us. It was station to station, very limited rest. So as I've said, I definitely recommend doing a multitude of stations when you have a multitude of people. But we're gonna work into our last exercise of the day, which is something that I don't think I put either of them through ever before, which is a reverse drop set. So we'll call it a raise set. So basically, first set's gonna be full length reps, or sorry, full range of motion reps for about 12. And then afterwards, I'm gonna finish those 12, drop, or rather increase the weight, and we're gonna do 8 reps of full length partials. So I got to show the guys what full length partials are. I don't think we've implemented that into the workout, but I'm definitely a big advocate of shocking your body and doing different types of movements. That way you can achieve shocking your body and feel different types of resistance, right? Because at the end of the day, I keep saying it, but I'm gonna really hammer this point in. Resistance training requires you to experience resistance. And when you do something on a multitude of times, that resistance dissipates. So you need to shock your body by implementing different types of movements. Now, last time I did this, which was chest day earlier on in the week, I did the flat bench, or rather the flat chest machine. This one we're gonna do the incline because we did the incline for the bench, or sorry, the flat for the bench press. So I do wanna implement an incline movement to hit the upper portion of the chest. Again, the wrist is sore. I do wanna implement dips, but my wrist is sore, so I wanna let it rest, heal, especially after doing those push-ups. Definitely felt it, you know, was feeling it quite a lot. But that's okay, like I said, you gotta let your body rest, you gotta take those cues, and of course, gauge your workouts based off that. We might throw in dips, we'll see how fast this set goes, to be fair. We're gonna throw in dips. I didn't hit dips last week and I had that same excuse in my wrist. I'm just gonna gauge how many reps I could do based off that, but I shouldn't mitigate their workout just because I'm injured. These guys still need to get it in, but
I think I'm injured too.
yeah, he thinks injured. Andre's saying he thinks he's injured. What a liar. But anyways, we're gonna do this for 5 sets, so it's just gonna be simultaneously. I go, he goes, bang, bang, bang. No rest in between, other than obviously the person going, but let's get it done. Two more. That first set's already brutal, man. We're gonna drop it 2, hopefully. We're gonna see how these full length partials go. No, we're gonna lower it 1. That would be ego lifting. So next set I have to do a little less on that first set. That way I can achieve what I want out of the second set as well. Holy fuck, I'm fatigued.
Come on, let's go.
We got 5 more. Okay, I'm gonna lower the weight. I'm gonna injure myself if I stick at this weight. One more, and I won't lie. When you first get this bench off, or rather the first push, it's always the hardest because how far back it is. It's too far back. So typically people put clips here. We don't have clips nearby, so we just gotta make do with what we have. So I like to come up and push out that way. That way I'm not right all here, but still a little bit of a pain in the ass. One more rep though.
One more rep.
I said one more. I might as well do 3 more for the rest. But definitely gonna have to drop the weight. We're not here to ego lift. I want to get the most out of this exercise, and of course, if I'm ego lifting, I'm not going to get the most out of it. I just put myself at the mercy of being injured, so I got to remember that. We're going to do this for 5 sets. Let's get done. Andre Baller said I look pretty with the lighting, so a little compliment there, a little flattering, but we crushed our set there. I won't lie to you guys, we ended up doing 4. I feel like 4 was more optimal because, I won't lie, like, we needed to get some assistance, especially with those partials. And it's what you need sometimes, but I mean, after a certain point, it's just negative volume, just junk volume as they call it. You don't really need to do that much volume, especially when you know that you need someone to assist you. Lowering the weight could have been optimal, but I think 4 sets hit the point. We're gonna crush some dips now, as promised. Wrist is sore, so of course gonna use the wrist straps. That way I don't injure my wrist, and also gauge how this is affecting my wrist when I'm doing it. But we're not gonna use any weighted belts. I wanna emphasize the control, because I don't really control these too much. I don't really think about it too much, but again, the wrist is sore. I need to make sure that's known, because I'm not gonna be able to work at my fullest potential, but we're gonna get this done. Remember, chest dips is a little different than regular tricep dips. Tricep dips, I go like about halfway, whereas chest dips, I make sure I'm in that depth element, right? Because depth on your chest equals growth, right? That's why I say dumbbells over barbell any day of the week, but we're gonna aim for about 10 reps, see how that makes us feel, and we'll get it. Definitely feel like 10's a sweet spot. My wrist was starting to feel at the end there, even with the wrist wraps. Probably could crush more if I was, fully recovered and whatnot, but you're not trying to injure yourself. Don't injure yourself. Don't push through the pain. Use it, understand it, and utilize it to the best of your ability. In this case, 10 reps with the wrap. We're doing this for 3 sets, so set number 1. Let's get this shit done. We have made it home safely. I always say it's a gratitude to get home safely, and that might sound repetitive to some people, but some people don't make it home. So, I mean, you got to take everything with a grain of salt and appreciate everything you can. Because at the end of the day, there's so much beautiful things to appreciate. And a lot of times you have these negative things that happen to you, and your mind's only focusing on those negative things without realizing all the beautiful, absolutely beautiful things you have around you. Light, water, juice, phone, everything you could freaking think of, we have access to. We live in the best society that the world's ever seen. And if you don't think that's true, I mean, there's all this shit happening or whatnot, and there's all this violence. And I'm not saying that's justified, but if you guys are watching on the phone right now, you have it better than a lot of people. And talk to your parents. They grew up without phones. We got phones. Like, there's a lot of things to be grateful for nowadays. And you got to take a step back and appreciate those those things around you that you can be grateful for. And I keep stressing that, guys, but I genuinely need to say that because I found myself prior to going on this self-discovery and self-development journey, always being so negative when I'm driving. Like, I see a freaking red light and get all angry and shit. But the reality of it is, there's fucking electricity powering this light to give it a red light to indicate to everyone that it means to stop. And that's just a societal thing, because in reality, red does not necessarily mean stop. Red just is red, And you got to take a second and step back and realize all those beautiful things that you have, especially when you're in those negative moments. It helps a lot. And especially when you're going through bad shit, hard shit, you really are in that negative thought process. But it is hard. but you still need to do it. Take a step back, appreciate all the things you're grateful for. But I am grateful for all you fucking legends, because we are en route to 1,000 subscribers by April 1st. At the time of this recording, we are 837, so we are closing in on that goal, guys. April's coming soon, and we are going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing towards that goal, because I am not a fucking quitter, and none of you guys are quitters either. We are not going to quit on our fucking goals, because at the end of the day, you only got one life, and we're going to make this life count. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Drop a comment down below what you guys plan on doing over this weekend. I plan on training. I'm getting back into martial arts. I should note that. I'm getting back into martial arts. Hopefully going to be filming a video tomorrow at the gym and showing you guys a little bit behind the scenes of my past. But hit that post notification bell so you guys don't miss that video, because that video is going to come out soon, and you guys will miss it if you don't have that post notification bell on. I appreciate it very, very much. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Have a blessed weekend, guys. Do some things with your loved ones. Tell them you love them. And find your impetus. Goodbye.